But my first real
Isn't it all?
job, my first real job was at an ice cream parlor. And that was
Hmm.
awesome. I loved that job. Loved it, loved it. But then, after a few years of that, I became a, a boardwalk beach badge checker. I was one of the people on a New Jersey boardwalk in my hometown where I would have to sit there and just make sure people had their beach badges on. And I actually had to work though. Okay, I had to work because I was the break giver. I was the person who had to go along to all the gates and make sure all the regular people at their gates got their break. So I was hoofing it. I was working.
I see.
And but there were some days where I had a gate of my own and I would just sit there with my book and I'd get I have to admit, I would get a little annoyed when people would come along because that would disturb me from reading my book.
Actual work.
Yes.
What's a beach badge?
It, oh, I should explain that.
They
Yeah.
don't have these in Florida.
No, I guess not. So
No, everybody can go to the beach in Florida. You don't need a you don't need a license or anything.
You don't have to be deputized?
No.
it's
Well,
monetized.
looky here.
Badge and a gun. Watch out for high tide.
There's a new sheriff in town on the beach.
I love this. Well, they monetized it at least in New Jersey. Where else? Where else do they? Do people
I
have to
think
pay to
it-
go on the beach?
A lot of the public
You
beaches.
pay to go on the beach?
Pay, yeah. Between look, between
And where do you wear the beach badge? Because I'm fixed to take all this stuff off when I get on the beach.
Yeah,
I gotta
you could pin it to your
pin it to
bag
my-
or- yeah, you can
whatever.
pin it to their beach bag.
yeah, you can clip it
Oh,
elsewhere.
it'll be on your person. I
Yeah,
see.
because you'll get one like for
Yeah.
your whole family, you know. And
Oh, it's more like a permit kind of thing than it is a.
Well,
Okay.
there's the season beach badges are like this little plastic thing that endures for the season. And you can wear it on your suit, you can wear it on your bag, but there's daily beach badges, John, where if you're just showing up for the day, it's just this little paper circle on a safety pin, or at least it was. I don't know if it still is. And you pin that somewhere.
and that's why
You
the
know who else
beaches
made
of
people wear little badges to identify themselves? Don't you?
Yes, the sheriff of the beach.
and that's why the New Jersey beaches are polluted.
with all
With all those
Shitload of
badges
safety
left
pins
behind?
and badges.
this debris.
Yeah. Marcus says fucking
okay.
Yankees. Yeah.
I want to hear Will's worst first job.
Yes, I want to hear that too.
Yeah, it's probably not any different than my old prostitute. It's not different than what I told these stories before, so I won't tell you again. But the first job I ever had was a newspaper. You know, because I really wanted to be industrious and work. You know, so I was probably 10 years old when I did that.
Like delivering
Something like
papers,
that.
paper boy
Yeah,
kind of thing?
and that was terrible because people didn't pay, and when they
Oh.
didn't pay, the newspaper company would take it out of your money.
$2!
Yes, that's why that kid is like that.
Will was the
And
kid.
Oh,
That is why in Better Off Dead he's like that because
He's
what happened
desperate.
is
Yeah.
you show up on the day that people are supposed to pay, and they're like, "All right, well, okay, from all your routes, you should give us $100." You know, and it's like, "All right, you only have 60. All right, you made no money today then
Oh my
because
gosh.
you're short.
Yeah.
You had to make that amount, and
Oh, that
Anyway.
seems like a bad job.
it was terrible. It was terrible for that.
Did you have to calculate?
Yeah.
Were you required to calculate the VIG as well?
Big?
Yeah, the juice is running.
What's a big? What is
Well, I
The,
thought you were from Jersey. Come on.
I'm from Jersey. She's not. She's from South Jersey.
I was
South
in Central.
Jersey doesn't have this kind
Central.
This
Is that where you hold out the pinky finger on the beach out there?
Yes.
Fancy Jersey.
Central Jersey doesn't have beaches, John. That's how you know she's not. She's not. There's no Central Jersey. But and I've said this. I've told the story before too. Probably the worst job I had though. I only lasted 3 days, and what it was trying to get people to enroll in dental school,
Oh yes.
and it was a telemarketing job. So, can you imagine ever getting a random phone call from a stranger and making a decision to become a dentist or a dental hygienist as a result of that phone call? That's so remote.
You probably
that's
could have
how you made
convinced
most-
me.
Yeah. That's how
Yeah.
you'd make most of your money was based on getting people interested. You know, all right, I got someone, this person's interested. They make it to the next phase where now the manager calls them.
Oh.
Otherwise, you just get the small, hourly wage. No, but I couldn't convince anybody to be a dental hygienist. It was the dumbest
You
thing.
like teeth, right?
And after the third day, the manager came over, and it was like you would expect, because this was like this kind of this burly sort of, greasy-looking guy would come over and be like, "Hey, how your calls doing today?" Not good, not good, not good.
Not good.
And then the third day, he says to me, we both look at each other, and he says, "This is not for you, is it?" I said, "No, I don't think it is." He's like, "Yeah, I didn't think so." So I left. And that was it.
You left.
Just sort of a mutual parting.
Well, wasn't there a job that you had when you were a teen? Am I remembering correctly? Where you there? I don't even
We didn't
remember.
quiet quit. We loudly quit.
Yes, you were somewhere for like a day, and then you just
Well,
and you got yelled at.
we were there for a few weeks, but yes. The short
That was a
version of
girlfriend you're thinking of. Yeah.
the short.
Oh,
So many.
We've circled back around to male prostitute.
Now I need that cloth, John.
Sick burn. It's hot over there, isn't it?
In short, because I don't know how fascinating this is, but I had a job one summer with my good buddy, and it was it was at a place where my mother worked. And she was an executive at this company. I think they still exist. A company that made lighting fixtures.
Yeah.
Some residential, but a lot commercial lighting fixtures.
Yeah.
And they needed a couple of young people that were willing to work for minimum wage this one summer, installing lighting fixtures in the showroom. I knew nothing. I think I was I think I was in senior year
remember
in high
this
school.
story.
So I was
Yes,
like 17
yes.
or 18. I knew
Ringing a bell
nothing
now.
about. Now I could do it, no problem. Then they, like John was saying, they didn't give us any training. They were just like, here's a box of a dozen lights. There's a dozen holes in the ceiling.
Oh my gosh.
And we did have a guy who was a retired vice president of this company that was there to help. And he was mostly doing a lot of it. And we would just, so after a couple of weeks, my friend says to me, "We're going to get fucking electrocuted one day. And for minimum wage, either we quit this job or we need to get paid more money." I was like, "You're right." So he said, "So you should go ask him." Mm-hmm. Now this guy was an older guy who was yelling at us constantly. Anyway, like you were messing these things up. He was like one of those cliche sort of fathers. And I say cliche because my father was also like this. Like, if you didn't hold the put the fucking flashlight back down. While they're under the hood or under the sink.
Yes.
I said Phillips head, you idiot. Whatever. My dad wasn't like that, but this is sort of
Same.
stereotype. He was like that.
Yep.
And so, I went to, but before we asked him, because he was a maniac, we planned how we were going to run out of the building if he started screaming. So we knew where the emergency exit was. Lo and behold, I asked him for the raise. "You fucking ungrateful kids. God damn it. Are you kidding me?" And he starts screaming, and he's like, "That's it." As soon as he starts yelling, we ran.
We
out
just
the door.
ran.
The last thing I heard him saying was, "I'm going to tell your mother." 'Cause my mother worked 3 or 4 floors up from this showroom.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
I wouldn't say that was necessarily the worst job, because it was a fine job. That was the worst moment probably in the job.
The worst moment of the job was fleeing it. Yes.
Your call center, Will, reminds me. Have you ever been on vacation somewhere where timeshares are a thing, and you have those people like, "Hey, how you doing? Things are going okay for you? Yeah, well, come on over. I have some brochures, got some discount coupons." And they're trying to talk you into going to the seminar.
Yes.
And, right. Well, and tomorrow morning at 8 a.m., you show up. The seminar just takes an hour. You're going to get free tickets, blah, blah, all that stuff. I was that guy once.
Oh, no,
John.
For about 3 months, I was that guy.
Wow.
3 months.
Oh.
Yeah, as a second job, sure enough.
a lot of
Because I
hustling.
grew up in Central Florida.
Yeah.
All the timeshare stuff was there.
Timeshares,
They
yeah.
give you a beat, like a hotel that you can go set up at. So they don't have anybody paid concierge there. So you're kind of acting as like a free info desk. And people come up to go, "Which way to the dining room?" and whatever. It's like, "Oh, well, but before I tell you, are you here visiting?"
Starving.
Before I tell you, before you can eat.
And it didn't pay.
Oh,
To be like clear, it
commission.
didn't pay. Yes. Well, what happened is, if you said you were going to go to the thing, they're like, "Okay, fill out this form, give me a $25 deposit.
Yeah,
That's
trying
my
to get
money."
you. Oh, okay.
Oh.
When somebody hands me that money, I just turn in the slips for anybody who's supposed to be there. When they show up, the company will pay them back the $25 for showing up.
Okay.
So the company was never out a penny. If those people paid the $25 and didn't go, the company didn't pay that. The people who paid me and didn't show up went. So anyway,
Right.
my favorite was a family of 6 one time said, "We'll go." And I got $150 one night. I'm like,
Wow.
this is great. That was a one-time thing. Otherwise, it was 1 or 2 a day I would get. So yeah, it was garbage.
Wow.
Do you know where the bathroom is? I have this awful diarrhea, and I really need to go.
Before I show
Tell you in a
you,
minute.
So the secret code then, if you ever get accosted by one of those people, you
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I live here." That's
Okay.
all. That's all you have to say.
Oh, that's
Because then
helpful.
they'll go, "Oh, the dining room is right here." Because if you live here, you're not going to buy a timeshare here. You live here. You have a house here.
yep.
So I don't care where you're from. You go, "I live here,"
live
and they'll
here.
stop talking to you.
Yeah, my wife and I almost got roped into one of those. I don't know. It was a while ago, maybe 15 years ago, staying at Virginia Beach. We had, pre-Verbo or Airbnb. I'm sure they still do this, but so I'm not sure how we found it. It was probably just on the internet. Someone had owned a timeshare inside of an apartment building or a condo, and they were renting it out for the summer. So we rented it for a week or so in Virginia Beach. And because we're in this building that had all these timeshares, they did that. They said, "Hey," and it was something like, "If you come, we'll give you a free dinner tonight, or $50 off of a voucher for the restaurant," something like that. My wife was like, "Hey, we just got to sit in a 90-minute thing for $50. Let's do it." I was like, "No,
Yeah,
our
that was
90
great.
minutes is worth more than $50 at a restaurant. Let's go to the beach." So we didn't go.
You could have been
Free
applying
Disney
for a
tickets.
job for 90 minutes. You could have been to
Greasy? Oh, yeah.
Doing a
Fill out your
spreadsheet.
Excel spreadsheet. Damn kids don't want to work. They'd rather work timeshares.